What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another show. Financial Hotline tips. At least this time, I tak terkejut Rafiq with berbahasa, and then people like apa dia cakap ni. But yeah, so here we go again, another week. And this time around, it's an interesting week because we're getting closer to the taxes. When are the taxes date anyway? Just in case orang tak tahu.
The deadline? I think if you're doing the hard copy, I'm not sure whether still the hard copy is still up. It's up to 30th. It's up to 30th April. Yeah, it's up to 30th April. If you're doing the e-filing, it's up to 15 May.
50 May. Okay, set. So everybody still remember.
So still got time.
Still got time. Don't panic. But then, you know, if you got any questions, once again, if you're first time watching this, the reason why I'm looking down, I'm sharing on my social media. So if the first time you're watching this and you don't know how it works, simple. If you got any questions about finances, ask us and we'll give you tips. Remember, whatever we're giving is tips. The best tips we think we know on how to help you in your situation, but it's not 100% guarantee whatever we say is the way to go. The best one is you got to speak to people because you got to speak to them directly because each of us have our own unique DNA when it comes to our finances because everybody's DNA bukan sama when it comes to finances. But back to the topic at hand, the one we want to talk about this week is bleeding money. Okay. I want to address something first sebelum we get the professionals to talk. Okay. When I posted up bleeding money, everybody's more or less understanding of bleeding money is, a lot of barang mahal sekarang. Those are two different things. So, if there are some people addressing mineral water naik, let me answer the question. Then bawa lah bekal dari rumah, so your mineral water price jatuh. Apa lagi we got? Rafiq, what other questions did you have? Do you have any questions that you go, alamak?
No, I think most people were talking about things that you generally spend on. So things that I think you have control. Whereas I think what you were trying to say when you were coming up with the topic bleed money is the things that you don't realize.
Correct.
You don't realize. So basically, it's something that you will have to spend. So, but without you realizing it, then it is bleeding.
Correct.
So it is actually affecting your cash flow.
Correct. And you see, at the end of the day, if you've watched the show enough, we've said a few things over and over again. One, you have to have a saving of 6 months to make sure you're safe and all that. But if you're bleeding money, you to save, not good because you don't know where the money is going. Most of the people who bleed money are the people who, where did my money go? Tiba-tiba all disappeared. Okay, so because you don't have a budget.
Actually, that is actually really interesting because one of the things that we do when we talk to our clients, especially first time, we collect their financial data, which includes their cash flow. Okay, so basically everything we have a list. We have a list of things that we'll ask you. Okay, some people think that they are already good enough at tracking their expenses. So, but then once we go into our own worksheet, then there's additional things that come out. Okay, but once we finish identifying all the expenses, and then we get the initial synopsis.
Right.
Do you have a surplus or do you have a deficit?
Most of the time, what's the answer?
No, it's not about whether it's a surplus or a deficit. The question is, when we get the figure, we ask them, is this what is happening right now? So we actually check that with them. Okay, so the worst case scenario is actually the figures show that you have a surplus.
Oh, okay.
But your actual financial is actually in a deficit.
How? Oh, because of the bleeding money lah.
Because of the bleeding money. Because of the things that they do not realize is actually eating into their cash flow.
Okay, what are the common things that normally eat into people's cash flow?
Okay, so there's actually a few categories. There's a few categories. So one is obviously expenditure itself. So like things that you spend on.
Correct.
Things that you spend on. So there are certain things that you'll notice that you're spending it on, but there are things generally that you don't notice. So this actually includes the occasional, like okay, going to 7-Eleven, going to your grocery shop, going to My News, going to Family Mart. Okay, get this
ice cream,
1, 2 things
bucks
here.
ice cream RM5 je, you know lah, ice cream.
Yeah. So you do that without noticing that it's actually adding up.
Correct.
So you generally, okay, you would remember, okay, I makan breakfast apa, I makan lunch apa, I makan dinner apa. But you will not remember, in between, after breakfast, I pergi 7-Eleven. What did I buy? Beli ban, or you know how 7-Eleven at the front like, have all the candies, balloons and everything, the chewing gum. Yeah. So take, lah RM2 saja, boleh. Oh, RM3, ambil. Right.
Correct.
So you take, but you don't remember that. And
understand.
If let's say every single day you do that, and every single time you spend, let's say 7 to 10 ringgit. So in a month, that is 200 to 300 ringgit already.
Correct.
That you didn't notice leaving your pocket.
Which is scary. Okay. Before we continue in depth, I'm going to go through my timeline because I posted the thing on my timeline, and then some people say a few things. Where I think I can answer, I will answer. Where I think I need Rafiq's help, we go to Rafiq. Okay? First one. Eugene Sang says, your pets, your children, your burden, your responsibility, take care for family. As we grow, we know exactly how much our parents spend. So, on that note, that one you can budget for. It's not bleeding money. You can control how much goes out. Bleeding is normally like cut and you don't know where it's cut. It's like blood coming out, titis, and then money go out. Like we talk about the candy bars from 7-Eleven. Okay, so that's one. Let's see. Lifestyle, drinks, Starbucks. Oh, see, everybody. Everything here. Everything is coffee. Starbucks, boba tea, semua, all those things. Once again, those you can control. If you want to stop that bleeding, senang. Don't buy. Okay? Done. I'm just saying. Mobile phone, prepaid and internet. And then tudung baru. Alamak. Padahal banyak tudung. Okay, that one I don't know. Okay? Overpriced tea. Mobile phone and prepaid, are there any hidden charges that people don't realize? That one I don't know.
Not okay lah. So I think so mobile phone prepaid. I think it's just the I've read it somewhere, but because I don't work in telco specifically, so I'm not sure.
So once again, whatever we're giving you is tips and whatever we know. Okay, if we 100% know, we'll tell you. This is whatever. Okay, go Rafiq.
So I've seen like people like iklan lah on my Facebook and everything. So obviously you have all those prepaid sellers, right? So they say, okay, so certain prepaid card is actually how they charge you for the block for the duration for the phone call. So like, is it like every 6 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds? So
you have to know lah.
Yeah, so you have to know that if let's say you're using it for phone call, or like how the data for that particular card is it like do you have like discounts, or you have better rates at night or weekends or whatever in terms of you use it? So just understanding that and using it as how the plan was created for you, that would obviously help. So if let's say you buy a plan that is like for data, but then you use it for phone calls, then obviously it's not going to be effective.
Then waste. Exactly.
That's a waste, right? But I do not know about most people lah. So I've only used prepaid ones. I've only used prepaid ones. So my whole life I've been using postpaid. But what I've noticed, especially now, like with postpaid at least, there are plans which is relatively cheap.
Correct.
Yeah. So mine, I'm paying about 40 plus a month, and I still get 20 gigabyte worth of data.
Okay.
I don't make that many phone calls.
Correct. And remember the data usage is based on what you do. If you watch a lot of video and stuff on your phone, then of course your 20 gigs will just disappear very fast. So if you've got Wi-Fi in your house and you know that on the go you don't use that much data, then boleh. So you be smart about how you buy, what plans you go into. That's about it. So read. That's the thing. The next one I've got from Victor, who says car, various transportation, maintenance costs. Most of the time, that one I feel it's not bleeding money, because if you budgeted for it at the start of the year, like we already say, budget how much expenditure you're going to have for your car, your fuel and all that, and also maintenance in the year, because some cars maintenance twice a year, some cars once a year. So depending on usage, of course. But so that one can budget. But is there any other bleeding thing there?
Yeah. So actually, with cars, there's actually one part.
Okay.
So when car rosak.
Okay. Yes.
When cars
unexpected cost.
The unexpected cost. Okay. Yeah. So when cars rosak, so obviously one is the wear and tear, normal wear and tear. But obviously the situation, let's say on our roads, doesn't help. So usually your tires you'll be replacing your tires instead of let's say the 18 months due to the potholes, due to the paku construction going on and everything. You might be changing it on a more frequent basis.
Right.
So that is a potential for bleeding. And the bigger your car, the more expensive your car, that is going to be bleeding more lah.
Correct.
So if you had bought a car based on what you can really afford, means that, okay, you're earning, let's say 3 to 4K, you're driving, let's say an Azia or maybe at most an IV, then even this unexpected cost should still be wouldn't cost too much. But if you're one of those that, okay, earning that amount, but you decide to drive the CC, the Vios, then the bleeding might be harder for you.
Correct. That one you got to masuk emergency straight away.
But interestingly, okay, some people, a lot of people actually when they buy cars, usually you would do your test drive. You like how the car looks, how the car feels, and everything. Correct. But there are certain cars that I think we've talked about it before in terms of really bad resale values. And,
yes, correct.
Yeah, everything. So I have this one client since November. Since November last year until now, he has spent 17,000 ringgit in terms of repairs on his car.
That one you can buy a good second-hand Myvi already.
So that is like almost like putus tangan lah.
Betul. 17,000 is a lot way. Either that or your change mechanic terus.
Dah tukar daripada pergi service center, pergi specialized punya outside. So reduce the cost, but still
bleeding.
Bleeding. Yeah. So that is something that you also have to take into account. So when you buy certain type of cars that have poor resale value, so when the car is starting to give you problem, then your finances will bleed a lot.
Correct.
So the cars with better resale value, even though let's say you have to repair it, the cost of repair will still be lower.
Correct. So it's very important when you want to buy a car, you really can afford it. Don't do it for the Instagram. Okay, don't buy a car so that you can letak kat Instagram, tunjuk kawan lah, check out, I got new car, check out it, habis. If got any problem, you cannot check out it already.
Tak payah beli kereta untuk tunjuk Instagram.
Itulah. And on another note, someone says something interesting also on my page. Touch and go. I like the convenience of touch and go, but because of touch and go, sometimes I don't realize I use touch and go. And then suddenly, where the $50 gone? you know what I mean? Because you don't notice, you just touch and go and then masuk je. But then and touch and go takes, every time you top up, some money from you. So yeah, it's that. Yeah, you can say touch and go can bleed if you don't pay attention to how much you're using.
Correct. So with touch and go, actually, it's very interesting. So with the flexibility that is provided, so with the pay direct, so means that you can use at the most of the tolls, and it's just like deduct from your e-wallet, right?
Correct.
So then, so it would deduct suddenly. Oh, it has reloaded.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. So because before this, when you had to do it manually, so then oh, okay,
how much
you're spending, how much you're using. Now that you're not, it's actually automatic, right?
Yeah.
So like, oh, okay, how many days was the last time before it reloaded?
Which is dangerous. I mean, like, I like the convenience. I'm not dissing it because of convenience, but you should be aware. If you put this auto top reload, be very aware of it, because sometimes it just takes and takes. Suddenly you're like, hey, where did this money go? And that's the worst feeling ever. It's like, where are you? I needed it for something else. Then you cry lah. I don't know how to say. Which goes to e-wallets as well. Someone here, Victor again, says something very interesting. Nowadays, because there's like e-wallet on Grab and all that, people tend to dump money inside there, expecting to use it because they have to have a certain amount and all that. Is the money worth it to dump in there, or better invested elsewhere and use rather than you just putting money and just waiting to use it?
I think it depends on the amount. Okay, I'm not sure how much amount Victor is talking about lah.
Yeah,
like,
I also don't know.
I do not know about you. So like for me, I only besides my touch and go e-wallet, which is on auto reload, so I just put it as 100 ringgit. And then my settle e-wallet, also like it goes below certain amount, I top up 100 ringgit.
Correct.
Most of the e-wallets that I use, I only reload it for the amount that I need to use.
Right. Okay. Summer.
Yeah.
Same.
So I don't put huge amounts, because I think until recently, most of the money that you put in e-wallet doesn't even earn you basic return.
Yeah. It doesn't.
It doesn't even give you basic return. I think I've read somewhere. I need to double confirm. I think Touch and Go just started that you can invest you can invest the money in e-wallet into something like a money market.
Huh? Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's something new. I didn't know about that. But once again, whatever we're telling you is tips and based on what we know. Maybe next week we can expand more.
Yeah, it is Touch and Go e-wallet.
It is Touch and Go e-wallet.
It is Touch and Go e-wallet. So there is a new function called Principal eCash, a money market fund managed by Principal Asset Management that aims to provide investors liquidity and income. Yeah.
Okay, that is interesting. That is interesting, and we should explore a bit more on that once we baca lebih, because I find that very interesting. Okay, another thing people talk about is your utilities, electricity and water. One thing I can tell you about water, this happened to me. Okay, I didn't notice that, atas rumah ada tangki kan. And then the tanki's got that float where it fills up and then it stops. The float rosak. So the water was overflowing and then was pouring out. But my water pour out is back on my house. So I never saw it pouring out. So until the bill came, like, hey, what is this? You know what I mean? So that's one thing you should watch out for. If you can service, look at things like this. Don't just like buat bodoh. You know what I mean? Be aware of where your water runoff is, so that in case anything, you go check once a week. Like, hey, so why got excess water coming out? So at least you're aware in case there's bleeding lah, because that one can actually bleed. Even though you can, we stay in Selangor and the bill is actually low. But my bill was actually, it came up to about 100. Wow. And I was like, how much? What is what? Terkejut lah.
You have a swimming pool at your house.
That's why I was like, what the? Then only I realized it was that.
So,
So I
so
fixed.
if you really have a swimming pool, next time I come to your house lah.
He did, bro, on the roof. Another thing that people say is TNB. TNB, I mean, like you do bleed money. Every red light that you see when you switch off your light in your house, that means your TV, your standby, anything on standby, even your chargers or your everything that has a light is bleeding money. Maybe not a lot, but in the long run, you are bleeding money there. So switch it off.
Yeah. Switch it off and change all appliances to
correct.
The newer ones that are energy efficient.
Yep.
So you still get the same objective, but
correct.
You might be saving money in the long run.
Right. And lights also. Try and change your lights to energy saving ones. Okay, those are my questions. The last one coming from Pile, which I think is very interesting. He says credit card bills. So for me, I don't think credit card bills should be a surprise because you are aware of how much you are swiping. You have to be aware of how much you're swiping. But here's one thing that at least I think this one Rafi can add to it. But I think a lot of people don't realize how much you're giving extra to the bank when at the end of the month you only pay minimum and not full. Because when you pay minimum, how much they have to pay, Rafiq? Please explain.
Okay, so basically, the calculation for minimum is about 5% of your total outstanding.
Correct.
Okay? So means that there is still 95% out there. So that 95%, basically you are being charged 18% per annum on it. So about 1.5% per month.
Correct. So think of that 1.5% of how much you tak bayar, which is add on to your bill, and then next month you pay minimum again, add on.
Yeah. So if let's say you're one of those that don't control your spending, and you actually swipe your card, and especially now, with buying everything online, all the e-wallet, the Grab food, the Food Panda, and all that. So everything is cut. So this is another form of bleeding because that's similar to touch and go because you are not monitoring how much you're spending. Because
correct.
When you were let's say you was using cash, so when the cash in your wallet or your purse finish.
Yes, correct. Habis, tak boleh guna dah.
Finish, tak boleh guna. Tapi now with all this convenience, right? So now you get in this problem where you have this potential of bleeding money because you're not controlling, and that's this leading when then you compound it when you say, okay, I'll just pay the minimum 5%. I just pay the minimum 5%, and the remaining amount you can kau per at least 1.5% per month.
Correct. And the truth is, if you want to really know how much you're paying the bank extra, go take your credit card end of the year statement, because at the end of the year statement, it will state how much you paid in interest, and you will be surprised how much money you wasted there. A lot of people don't realize it until you see that. Then only you're like, why did I give them free money? It's bleeding money.
Yeah, so you can, actually I could have gone for a nice trip for me and my family with that amount of money.
Correct. And it can go up to that much if you think I just pay minimum lah, okay lah. Oh, buyer. You want to answer some of the questions that people posted? Some Khairul Aizat says, why not use our, there you go. Why not use our Visa? No need reload, which more easier. What is the logic behind the touch and go? I feel it's more like forced system to people, especially to pay toll, which is Visa machine should be placed at toll gates. Visa machine pun the same thing, unless you're talking about Visa from your debit card lah, then different lah. Parking supermarket. Convenience has a price. That one I cannot marah. Convenience has a price but he has a point lah. What do you want to say, Rafiq?
I think okay. So to me, it doesn't matter whether it's Visa or whether it's Touch and Go, whatever. But I think maybe one point that I'm not sure whether that's what Tyrell Isaac wants to highlight is that you know when you go to shopping malls and everything, and there's this additional surcharge, Touch and Go surcharge when you use your parking.
Yes.
So
that
yeah.
makan also.
Yeah, that makan, especially if you keluar masuk parking a lot lah.
Yes.
If you hardly go in and out the parking, like most actually you see when you go to our malls and everything, all the expensive cars is actually parked outside. So these people pandai. They don't want to bleed their money to Touch and Go. You see the expensive Merc, BM, Mustangs and everything. You go to Curve, you go to Empire Kubang, semua park kat luar.
Okay.
Sometimes okay lah, maybe sometimes maybe these people tak cukup duit nak bayar parking kot sebab kereta mahal.
Ya tu dipanggil perli, bagus. But yeah, so that it goes back to what we've been saying always. Monitor how much money you take out. If you can, nowadays smartphones you can create apps. And there's apps that you can straight away key in your how much you spend. Kalau you not really monitor. So first month just tutup mata, do like how you do, put in how much you spend, what you spend on, how much you spend. At the end of the month, you buka and you tengok, then you'll be able to budget where you're wasting money or where you're bleeding money. So that's my advice lah. I tried that before.
Yeah. So okay. I just want to come back to this about the phones earlier.
Can.
Okay. So actually not phone specific, but actually related to the games that you play on the phone.
Oh really? Certain games take up more.
Actually, it's not about the data, but actually now, if actually you a lot of games, okay, they target you in by it's free to download, it's free to play. And
in-game purchases.
In-game purchases. Okay.
Right.
So right. I've seen in some of the games that I play. So you have this like people, right? So they would spend a lot of money on this game, but then there are people who are being hooked. Okay, so they see what they call these whales like buying a lot and like becoming very strong and everything. So they just want to keep up. So in the game, you have this option where you mungkin I just pay RM5, so I get something.
Correct.
Get something. Then it's actually like a drug, So once you do that, so then okay lah, RM5 only. Okay, tomorrow I do another RM5. Then I do another RM5. I do another. You sedar satu bulan dah RM150.
Then you menangis. And on another note is apps that subscription based. There are some apps that are subscription based, and you maybe that year you wanted to use that app, so you subscribe to it for 1 year, and then you forget to unsubscribe because you don't want to pay for the app again. Suddenly money goes out. So that has happened to me a few thousand times. So I've learned my lesson, and every time I subscribe something and put in for monthly ke yearly, I straight away set alarm, a reminder on to switch it off ke apa 2 days before it expires. So that's what I do. That's my tip. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's fine. That's fine in terms of because I do notice some of the subscription. Okay, so you subscribe 1 month, then after that they're going to automatically renew it unless you actually terminate it.
Yes.
So being aware of those deadlines actually is very important lah.
Correct. Yeah. So that's another way where you can bleed money. When we're talking about bleed money, you're not bleeding like you can bleed thousands depending on your expenditure, but for the layman, a few hundred is painful also. So we're trying to stop you from bleeding that few hundred, and then with that few hundred, you might be able to put it in some investment that can earn you money rather than lose you money. So that's why we're talking about bleeding money. We've got
we have a question.
Go ahead. Go.
Okay.
Razidah Ahmad says, But this is more of a statement lah. I love e-wallet and apps. I think it helps me with budget. Example, I use this setter for fuel. Fair enough. I put in 500 there so I can track. Okay, fair enough. If you use it in that way, as in my budget for a month is banyak ni, I letak ni. Kalau then you monitor, then at least that's smart. Okay?
Yeah, because I think one of these e-wallet apps, so some of them have like this expense tracking function. So then you can actually see where you're spending the money at.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I think that is a smart nila. So but I think what we were talking about earlier is like this uncontrolled spending.
Correct.
So basically like with auto reload, so you say, okay, it's like, okay, I put 100 every time, but you don't control how, when, how, or where you spend that 100.
Spend it. Correct.
So then that actually creates the bleeding situation lah. But I want to talk about just now before the statement from
Question.
Actually, with regards to investment.
Okay.
Actually, with regards to investment. So with regards to investment or savings specifically, actually there are two situations where you can potentially bleed.
Okay, suddenly you got my attention like besar-besar eyeball like that. Okay, how do you bleed in investment?
Okay. So the first one is the more traditional one, which a lot of people don't notice, which are the charges.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which are the charges. So we did talk last time about like takaful, insurance charges and everything, but investment also got charges.
Oh, okay. All right.
Investment also got charges. Okay, because you have to be fair to the people who
are doing
investment, because they also need to earn some money. But some people who are investing might not realize how much or what are all the charges that is available. So depending on how much you're investing or what you're investing in, there have been situations where the charges might be 5 figures, 6 figures.
Oh, that's a lot way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, so that this is why when you plan to invest or somebody is approaching you for investment, you have to clarify how I am being charged for the investment. Yeah, you can say whatever, or you can say whatever it is about all the profit and everything. That one is not confirmed, but the charges are confirmed.
Yes. So the profits are not guaranteed, but charges are 100% there.
Yeah. So whether you profit or not, they will still charge you.
Right. So the question that everybody should ask, the takeaway from this when it comes to investment, how am I being charged for this? Bukan how much my charges, how I'm being charged. Why I say don't ask how much my charge, because they can calculate your charge for that transaction only. But then suddenly, if like continuous, if in night change, you don't know. But how I'm charged, it's easier for you to calculate the percentage and stuff like that, and you know more.
So, but like I said lah, so if let's say, okay, it's a good investment and everything, so it should, your return long term should beat
the charges.
Should cover all the charges lah. Should cover all the charges and still get you to the net return that you want to get.
Correct.
Yeah. So but I've talked to a couple of people that I met. So actually a lot of them do not realize that there are actually more charges than just, let's say, the upfront sales charge.
Right. No. I also wasn't aware of it. I mean, I won't say I tak tahu. I'm aware of it, but not conscious of it. That's a better way of putting it. Because it's like, no, it wouldn't be that bad lah.
Yeah. So there are if you actually look at, and let's say unit trust, you look at their fund fact sheet.
Yeah.
So in their fund fact sheet, actually listed, okay, these are the standard charges.
Right.
But how many people who invest in unit trust actually looked at the fund fact sheet or at the prospectus?
Nobody. I mean, like, I didn't lah. I'll be honest, I didn't. Another investment that people don't realize sometimes is when you buy apartments, want to rent, and then you think, hey, my rent is covering how much I have to pay. Bagus lah. But you don't realize every month you got sinking fund. Maintenance is actually sometimes can go up to hundreds. And that also eats into your account if you don't realize, unless the tenants are paying for
generally no lah.
No one does. So in other words, it's yours. So
Yeah.
it's yours to pay. If you don't realize that, like that lah. So a lot of people don't realize that part when it comes to bleeding money.
So with regards to investments, you have to be aware of all the charges.
Yeah.
Because these charges have an impact in terms of your investment returns overall.
Right. Okay.
So that's the first part, which is like the more traditional lah. The second part is actually the bleeding money of leaving your money in places where it's not working hard for you.
So in a way, it's not your money going away. It's money that could have come is not coming.
Yeah.
All right. One of the things watched last week's 2 weeks ago when we talk about insurance, because sometimes you're paying so much and getting so little if you don't know exactly. So if you renegotiate sometimes, and this has been done, and re-look at your coverage, you sometimes can get covered more by paying lesser.
Yeah.
But because you know exactly what to look for. So if you want to know more about insurance, last week we spoke about it to help you out. What else? Do you have any questions? I'm looking at the online, tak ada already. Another thing that I got was income tax is bleeding money. How can you bleed money in income tax when you're already buyer? Is there ways of bleeding money in income tax?
There are actually.
Huh? How?
There are. Okay, so actually interesting because I've actually just finished writing an article about mistakes that people generally do when they do their tax filing.
Okay. It's like this. Give us the top line. Top line. If you want in detail, go read the article. Okay, the article is going to be there up there. Well, Vantage. Go look there.
So articles still have to go to the editors first lah.
That's right. So you go to the editor. Once it keluar, it'll be up there. So follow them on the socials. It's all there, and then you can read it. But top line, what? How do you bleed money in?
Okay, so there's actually I've outlined 7 things.
Oh, okay.
7
Tujuh, huh? I didn't expect that much. All right.
This I was talking about general mistakes lah. Okay. So the first thing that you need to understand with regards to filing your taxes
right.
It happened to me. This actually happened to me, and I kena penalty and kena fine.
All right.
Because I forgot to click submit.
Oh, did everything and then okay lah, I'll submit later, and you didn't click submit.
I didn't click submit.
But it's in their system already, right?
Correct. So and interestingly, because that year that I forgot was 2012. So I was still working employment, so PCB. Yep. So the money was in their e-ledger.
System.
The money was in their e-ledger in the system. So I actually paid, and I should have gotten the refund if I had clicked submit.
But you didn't burn.
Yeah, I didn't click submit because there was an issue with my EA form.
Okay.
So there was some information that was not correct. So when I was keying in, I found out it was not correct lah. So that's the reason why I forgot to click. So and I didn't kena that year. I kena in 2015. Because 3 years later.
Right.
Yeah, 3 years later. Because I think there was like a duration where if let's say I had
click submit, you would have been safe.
Submit, then I still kena penalty for late submission.
But
not as bad lah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So because of that, I had to pay 20% fine of the amount that they say I didn't pay taxes.
Oh, but you already deducted, so how can you not pay?
So because I didn't click submit, they are saying is I didn't pay.
Aduh! So oh my god, that's painful, dude.
So this is literally bleeding money lah.
Correct.
Muntah darah.
Muntah darah because you didn't click submit.
Yeah, just because I didn't click. Yeah, so
Okay,
the
that's
amount
painful.
actually went close to 5 figures lah. That 20% penalty.
That's painful, dude.
Yeah.
That is really
So
bleeding painful.
yeah, but good news is working with a tax agent, we managed to resolve it.
Yep.
So I appeal and my appeal got approved. So then I got the money back.
Right.
But before I got the money back, I still had to pay the penalty
You have
first.
to pay first, correct? Then only you can argue.
All right. So basically, that money, which was close to 5 figures, could have been used for something else.
Correct.
But instead, it was then left in my e-ledger
Right.
because I just forgot to click submit.
That is a painful lesson, bro. That's a
Yeah.
painful. But okay, what is a tax agent? Sorry, I bodoh.
So tax agent is actually people who are licensed to liaise and help you submit, do tax filing, to tax planning for you, either personal or business.
Right.
So they are licensed. So financial planners are not tax agents.
Yep.
We cannot do we can help you with basic tax planning lah. But we are not the people
Cannot.
who go to file for
Correct.
you to go liaise
Correct.
with LADN. No.
Don't the accountants do that? Sorry, I blur.
Some accountants do that.
Right. Okay. Okay.
But tax on its own, there's like a specialized field there.
All right. Understand.
Yeah, there's a specialized field in tax. Yeah.
One down. What else? What's the other things?
Okay. So another one that generally people believe is actually okay. So this is, I think, by not declaring your income.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then kena
So,
saman.
then kena lah.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
it's a combination. You don't declare income because you think LSDN doesn't know.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one. But the thing is, LSDN knows more than what you think. Okay, so that's the first part. Second is you also not helping the situation, but then showing off your wealth on social media.
Yeah, you know, ada orang tak pandai.
So then you are attracting people to come
attention.
and audit you.
And for people who don't know, 7 years, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes. You have to keep all your documents for 7 years.
Yes, and doesn't mean this year then next year tak ada already. No. 7 years it can come back and bite you. So you got to keep it for 7 years. Your documents and your bills. And here's another thing. This is totally side topic. But when your bills, some of it, you know, if you're keeping your bills like konon, the one that if this is for businesses lah, if you print out the bill from the, you know, the receipts, those things fade. So if it fade and then you don't know how to take picture, print, I don't know. That's my advice lah. Because sometimes when you fade, you're like, alamak, how now die? So I'm just saying lah, it does fade some bills.
Yeah, so better scan because now you have technology. Scan and keep it in a soft copy.
Correct.
Keep it in a soft copy because they still accept those.
Correct. And back to the main topic, don't try and lie on your taxes. They know.
Don't lie. Please don't.
Yeah. Because whoever is paying you, them paying you helps with their tax bracket because they are forking out money. They want to show that they're paying people money and it's not profit for them. So they will make sure that the tax people know that you have the money. So if you think like no one knows, it's just a payment. They know, okay? They know. Sure.
Yeah, even if let's say you get that's one thing. So you know, like how this MLM, House Unit Trust agents, insurance agents, and everything, they actually get this reward trips.
Yep.
Actually, all those reward trips are taxable.
Oh, oh, really? Because that's considered bonuses, is it?
Yeah, that's considered an income to a benefit to the people who receive it.
Oh, okay. Hey, okay. Yeah. On a side note, when it comes to taxes, Rent also is you're supposed to declare that,
taxable.
is it?
Yes. Rent that you receive, you also need to declare.
Okay.
Even
All right.
the thing is, okay, even if you like sell online or you sell pasar malam and you get, let's say, 50 ringgit a day, you still have to declare.
Right. But
Because the act is income tax act.
yeah.
It's not employment income tax act, or it's not large income tax act. It is
It's just
income tax
income
act.
tax. Okay,
Yeah.
understand.
Obviously, there is definitions of income lah in the income tax act. But
Correct.
yeah, so if you are not sure, then go find somebody who can help guide you.
Correct.
Don't pandai-pandai, because this comes to my next point with regards to taxes. Will actually
Yeah.
release and deduction.
Right. Okay. That someone Victor just said reliefs and not maximizing your reliefs and deductions.
So there's two parts. One is not maximizing reliefs and deduction, which is tax planning side.
Yep.
Okay, because you do not know what can be
help you get back money.
What can help to reduce the taxes and everything.
Yep.
The other one is yang claim all the reliefs.
Just click only, no
Just
proof.
click only. Yeah, no proof. Because I've seen it. I have actually seen it happen. I said, huh? Because they say, oh, bila kita tekan, jumlah teks kena bayar jadi kurang. You're speechless.
I don't know how to answer people like that.
Yeah, but it actually happens. It actually happens.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first scenario that Victor pointed out means that you are not optimizing maximizing your tax relief lah.
Yep.
So that is a form of bleeding itself.
Correct.
But second one, okay, you might be paying less taxes now, but once similar like to the previous where you don't declare income, so under declaring also will hit you hard lah. Well, so because you can get penalized at 200%.
Oh my
of
god!
The under declared amount.
Don't be stupid. Seriously, just that's all I can say. Like, just don't risk it. If you think that's they'll attack more people, not me. I'm small fish, and don't.
Yeah. So I've talked to some of my clients who are basically, okay, it's one thing for people who are on unemployment. So you have TCB, you have the potongan cukai berkala that happens bulanan and everything. So generally, these people are generally safe.
Yes.
So because of the monthly deduction, unless you have a side hustle, you have a business, whatever, then you're into the second group lah. So it's actually the second group who are businessmen, entrepreneurs, people in the gig economy, all your MLM, sales agent, trust agent, all that. So these are the people who generally get into trouble with LHDN.
Right, because they think no one will know how much they are earning lah.
Yeah, so I've seen and I've known for a fact. So some group agency managers in unit trust agencies, in trust companies, so kena like 400,000, 500,000 punya tax bill. So spread out over 3 years to pay.
That is crazy. Okay.
And then get blocked from going overseas.
Yeah, of course. You cannot travel already. So all that trip you want, tak boleh pergi.
Tak boleh pergi.
Oh my god. So please don't do that. Okay. So now we covered 4 things already, right?
Yeah.
What the other 3?
I campur lah. So ada 4, 5 or 6 already. Okay. So the last one is actually okay. So for Muslims, because we have to pay zakat.
Correct.
And under the income tax punya system, so the zakat that we pay can be deducted for every 1 ringgit that we pay tax.
All right. Yeah.
So it is actually equivalent. So so if we were supposed to pay 10,000 ringgit tax, but we opt to pay 10,000 ringgit in zakat, so then it would cross off.
Offset. Yeah.
Yeah, it would offset. So you choose either. You choose
Are the
either.
systems connected?
Okay. So the system for the monthly deduction is connected to a certain extent.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
let's say you actually do the monthly with the Pusat Zakat, so then your HR, because you will have to go do it to your HR. So then your HR will then inform HDN that, okay, this person is doing monthly Zakat
Right.
deduction.
Okay.
And so that it will reduce the PCB. So whatever amount that you pay will still be the total maximum amount that you pay for tax, because
All
Zakat
right.
is being assessed at a very lower amount. It's 2.5%.
I never
So
knew that, lah.
yeah, it's much lower. But there's nothing wrong for you. There's no law that says that you cannot pay the same amount of zakat that you pay your tax.
Right. Okay.
There's no law that says that. So there are some people that I know of that say, okay, I don't want to pay tax. I want to pay 100% zakat.
And it's legal.
It's legal. But what happens when you do that is actually you will not have the most efficient tax/zakat structure.
What do you mean by that? I tak faham that one.
Okay. Because with zakat, there's no relief. So there's no relief, whatever. Okay. On the taxes side, there are the tax relief, the tax deduction.
Right.
So if you do it based on your PCB amount that you do it, so that hasn't taken into account all your relief yet.
Faham.
Because your HR doesn't have all the information.
Correct. Of your dependents and the your computer that you bought and all that.
Yeah. So because they cannot assume that, so they will then just do the basic.
Okay.
If you then from the start of the year say, okay, I want to deduct the whole PCB as zakat, so then once it gets to tax filing, you will then put in all the relief. When you put in all the relief, and then you say, okay, you will get a certain amount, and when you put, okay, I've already paid X amount of zakat, it would look like you've paid extra.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing is, you cannot get refund.
Yeah, because
the money was paid to zakat.
Understand. Okay, so it's a good thing for everybody to know that. Okay. So be aware of how you do. And another thing, when it comes to like I said, the extra reliefs, like what Rafiq says, I said computer. Say lah, you forgot to keep your receipt, and then come text, where the receipt lah? Never mind lah, I bought the computer, so I put it in. Don't. If you got no proof to say you did it, like we said, 7 years, it still can come back and bite you. Okay, and that proof, once again, photostat, print, do whatever you can to
email,
to make
Google Cloud or Google Drive, whatever.
Make sure you can have that copy if the income tax come to our LHDN come to you and say, show me proof, you got proof. Because if you don't, you sure kena saman, you sure kena bayar. There's no questions asked there. Okay. Hey, for those of you just watching, thank you so much so far for your questions. Anyone else got apa-apa soalan, please just post it in. But now I want to ask Rafiq, on your point of view, where else do people normally bleed money?
The other one,
from your experience lah.
Okay, we did talk about credit cards. Yep. Actually, the other one that people generally don't review once they've done it is actually your housing loan.
Oh yeah, okay. Suddenly you got my interest. Silakan.
Dekat di hati ya.
Dekat di hati. Silakan cepat cakap.
Okay. So so if you had noticed when you sign your housing loan offer letters, right?
Yeah.
So there is the older days they have this thing called BLR, base lending rate.
Base lending rate, yes.
Okay. So but then your actual loan interest rate or profit rate would be BLR plus or minus.
Okay, correct.
Plus or minus. So correct. Then you get your end figure. Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's bank rate. So BR means instead of it being controlled by Bank Negara, everything is controlled by the bank. So each bank can dictate the rate. They have been given the autonomy by Bank Negara to. So when BLR changes, bank don't need to change.
Oh. So it's okay. so if the BLR changes and say lah, when you did the loan, your BLR is 6. Cakap lah 6. Then now it changed to 7.5. You still remain at 6 or you go up to 7.5?
It depends on the bank lah. If let's say the bank then adjust, then it's adjusted lah. If the bank doesn't adjust, it doesn't adjust. Because that is the agreement that you sign with the bank.
Right. Okay. So that one is for going up. That means that one you happy lah if they don't increase it.
Yeah.
But if go down, same thing lah.
Yeah, same thing lah. Okay. But the point I was going to make is actually, okay, so now, and this is something that you have to be wary of every time we're in a low interest environment.
Okay.
Like now.
Yes.
Now. Okay. So every time there's a low interest environment, so what happens in that formula that the bank uses in your loan agreement? So it changes to a plus. So means when you sign the agreement, it's BLR plus or BR plus.
Yes.
When it's high, it's minus.
Oh, so they plus it.
So dia terbalikkan lah. So bila tinggi dia minus, bila rendah dia plus.
Right.
But if let's say you sign contract minus, it will still minus lah. But if you sign contract masa plus, it will become a plus. Okay. So for those that are taking loans during low interest rate punya,
it's always a plus, is it?
It's always a plus, and you have to be careful when the BLR goes back up.
Oh yeah. During that time, can you renegotiate with bank? Tak ada kan?
No, if the thing is, people do not realize.
Oh yes.
So because what is it? Oh, interest rate naik.
Yeah.
So what you get from the bank is the letter saying now your monthly naik.
Right.
You don't check what is my effective interest rate right now.
Yeah.
You don't check that part. Most people don't. Most people just look at the absolute amount that they have to pay.
Correct.
They will complain.
Yeah.
They will complain, but they wouldn't look at, okay, what's the root cause of this happening?
Right.
Okay. Because what has happened, I've seen several situations. There was one time a client of my firm was paying 9% for housing loan.
That's BLR plus something, is it?
Yeah, plus something.
Wow, 9%.
So for ASB loan, there was one client who was paying close to 8%.
Ui, banyak weh. That's a lot.
ASB that time was giving 6.
Oh, that's like you giving bank free money.
Yeah, you're giving bank free money lah.
Bank very happy with you. It's like, come, take.
So this is literally bleeding lah.
Right.
This is literally bleeding.
And you see, based on what we've spoken about the whole of tonight, okay, which we're gonna end soon enough, is be aware of your finances. Don't tak apalah. Anything, even from chocolate to 7-Eleven, be aware of it. Cannot tak apalah, because your tak apalah can end up you pay losing 200 ringgit and you don't notice. I mean, like if you think
still okay lah.
no, but for people who 200 ringgit is sakit, dangerous. You know what I mean? Be aware of everything. How you spend, where you have, where your money is. Especially like this loan thing. And just double checking. I don't know whether this happens. Like okay, we've spoken about housing loans and bank calling you tak nak jawab. Banks can increase your thing based on that also, right?
Okay, so basically in the agreement there is this standard clause. So especially for Islamic loans,
Yep.
Islamic loans, because Islamic loans have what is called a ceiling rate.
Right.
So this is actually what you should be paying, but what you'll be paying is a discounted rate. So if you're good paymaster, you'll be paying a discounted rate, but in actuality you sign the agreement to pay at a higher rate.
Because
so failure to pay, I think most of it about 3 months.
Yep.
Then they just ask you, they just revert your repayment
straight to you.
To the ceiling rate already.
So be aware of that, because it could be an additional few $100, and you tiba-tiba
depending on the size of your loan lah.
Yeah, depending on the size of loan,
so
it could be more.
Generally, it would be at least twice the repayment amount.
Which is crazy, which is a lot, okay? Because if you think about it, you've already budgeted for how much you want to spend a month. Suddenly, you throw in something extra like that, it will burst your budget and it will make you cry. And that's where the bleeding happens. It's just as long as you tak tahu, you will bleed.
Yeah.
If you ignore, you will bleed. So if you bleed, you don't have any more darah, then no good.
So like what you pointed out, actually the most important thing here is actually to be aware of your finances.
Yeah.
If you're aware of your finances, you know where the each ringgit is going, what is being spent on and everything, then you should be in a better position compared to most other people.
Correct. So be aware, guys. And girls, be aware of your finances. Always. That's why I say nowadays got a lot of free apps that actually allow you to track your expenses. Even your banking app also, I think nowadays they've got some funky things inside it. I don't know, because everybody wants you to keep track of your finances. So please keep track of your finances. Mark down so that you know exactly where you can save. Because most of the time people like our goal is for you to increase your wealth. And to increase your wealth is to have more savings. Now, if you're bleeding money and you don't know where your money going, you cannot save. So as long as you are aware of it, you can save. Which leads back to up there. Can you see that? Please, get yourself a free consultation. Find out about your financial health. Follow them on social media, because Rafiq is going to come up with an article. I bet you there's more articles coming out. Lots more things.
Kena paksa.
Kena paksa
tulis.
and seriously, they've got a lot of things there where you can learn more about finances. If you're so shy asking here, but if you want to ask here, also can just put it inside. We can address it the next time we come around. And this is on a personal note. For everybody who's watching this and suddenly I like this Rafiq fellow lah, I want to get in touch with him. I just want to say the people at that firm are all as good as this fellow. It's just because I kenal this fellow, that's why I'm chatting with this fellow too. But all the people there are nice people. So, that's what I'm saying. Once again, you can scan the code down here for your free health check. So go there, scan it. And make sure you're aware of your finances. Be totally aware of where you're bleeding, where you're saving, whether you're in the deficit or you're in the red or in the green. It's very important to know all that. Anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's all.
Tu dia. And that's all, folks. Join us again. Join us again 2 weeks from now. If you got any more questions or any topics you want us to cover, put it in the comments. We'll try and cover it all. All right. But other than that,
it's our last show before quarter.
Oh, correct. Puasa, we all different. Okay.
Puasa, we might have to have a different schedule.
Correct, because I know you got your Semayang Tarawih and all that.
So we might either push it earlier or something lah. So we have to discuss. But we will inform everyone about the Puasa schedule lah.
Correct.
Once we finalize it.
Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you got any questions, make sure you increase your financial awareness and financial knowledge. Is very, very important. You cannot leave katak bawah tempurung already nowadays. You have to know. All right. So
okay.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.